The thing needed to solve a missing person case isn't just one major clue, but lots of small pieces of information put together to figure out what happened to a person after they mysteriously disappeared. In these cases, the families of missing people are just waiting for the right pieces of the puzzle to come forward. Number 5. When Diana Rose Alejandra Garcia Gonzalez left the home she shared with her girlfriend in Winter Haven, California, on May 4th, 2020, she didn't take her purse, cell phone, or any personal belongings with her. She hasn't been seen since, but it took months for a missing person report to be filed. Diana was 31 years old and a mother to 5 children when she vanished in 2020. There isn't a lot of information available about her case, but what we do know makes the case extremely strange. It was June 30th before Diana was reported missing. Her family last spoke to her at the end of April, and if anything out of the ordinary was noticed, it hadn't been reported. After about a month of silence from her daughter, Diana's mother reached out to other family members, only to discover they too hadn't heard from her. Eventually, Diana's aunt, who lives in Arizona, filed a missing persons report and police began their investigation. It was discovered the last sighting of Diana was on May 4th, when she left the flat that she shared with Danielle Meaden. It was presumably then that it was discovered that Diana had left without any of her belongings, but for some reason, these belongings haven't been located. Police claimed that there were too many rumors surrounding the case to know for certain what happened to Diana, or even whether foul play was involved. Though some of Diana's family members have placed the blame on Danielle. It's not known why Danielle didn't report her girlfriend missing, even if they had a falling out and Danielle assumed Diana no longer wanted to speak to her. The fact her purse and phone were left behind would indicate they intended to come back at some point. Diana's family believed she wouldn't have just left her children, who are currently staying with their father, and don't think her disappearance is voluntary. Whether foul play is involved or not, this missing person case is definitely mysterious, and only if someone comes forward with information is it likely to ever be solved. Diana is 5 foot 3 inches tall and weighs 250 pounds. She has several tattoos, including the name Jose on her back, and the names Isabella, Valerie, Evelyn, Michael, and Nathaniel on her right arm. The Imperial County Sheriff's Office is investigating the case and can be contacted at 442-265-2105. Number 4. When Calandra Stallworth left her place of work in Crestview, Florida, she called her mother to let her know that she was on her way home, but Calandra would never make it back, and none of her family have ever seen or heard from her again. Calandra was 30 years old when she vanished in March of 2017. She was the mother of 2 teenage daughters and in a relationship with a man named Antoine Smith. She had his name tattooed above her head, but her family described the relationship as controlling and worried about her safety when she was with him. On the morning of March 27th, she dropped her daughters off with her mother, who lived next door, and went to work as a housekeeper at the Hilton Sandyston Beach Resort. This was the last time her family saw her. At the end of the workday, she was being picked up by Smith. Even though she called her mother, the couple wouldn't return to her mother's home. That evening, Calandra's family reported her missing. It seemed like the case would be resolved relatively quickly, though. 2 days later, Calandra went into a police station to ask them to remove her missing person report. She claimed she wasn't missing. She had just been away for a few days with her boyfriend in an area without any reception. There was no need to worry about her. She didn't get in touch with her family after leaving the police station, and they continued to worry about her, but the report was removed. That was until 4 days later, when police pulled Smith over in a routine traffic stop. He was driving Calandra's car, but had another woman in the passenger seat. This woman was an 18-year-old who had also been reported missing a few days earlier. There was no sign of Calandra, but her purse and phone were found in the car. The investigation into her disappearance resumed, while Smith was arrested for charges relating to illegal substances and driving without a license. Since then, no new information about Calandra's disappearance has been found. There have been a few sightings, but none have been confirmed. The fear that something terrible might have happened to her returned when, in October of 2020, Smith was charged with taking the lives of 2 men. He had allegedly been doing a deal involving illegal substances with the 2 men when he took their lives, and he's currently awaiting trial for the altercation. Calandra's family now feared that something like this may have happened to their loved one. Smith remains a person of interest. He claims that he dropped her off at another man's house not long after she was last seen, and hasn't seen or heard from her since. While it's possible Smith may hold the key to solving Calandra's disappearance, it's also possible someone else might have the information needed to close her case. Calandra was between 5'5" and 5'7" when she disappeared, and weighed 200 to 220 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. The Crestview Police Department can be reached at 850-682-3544. Number 3. It's been more than a year since 26-year-old Kristen Brugman was last seen after a night out with friends. Her family has hired a private investigator to try to solve this missing person case, but so far they're left with more questions than answers. Kristen was last seen in person in the early hours of January 2nd, 2021. She'd spent the evening at a local pub in Indianapolis with a group of friends. At about 12:15 a.m., they left the pub. According to some reports, they got into an argument and left Kristen behind. In other reports, they offered her a ride home, but Kristen said she wanted to go bowling and left. About 15 minutes after her friends left her, Kristen's mother called her, but the phone went straight to voicemail. Whether the phone was deliberately turned off is unknown, but given Kristen went straight to the pub after work, it seems likely the phone simply ran out of battery. Reports claim that she headed in the direction of a nearby bowling alley. The nearest location that was open 24 hours was 6 miles away, but there were some closer spots that may have been closing around midnight. Some have suggested it was one of these that she was heading to. Either she wasn't certain if they would be closed yet, or she was going to meet someone there instead. What is known is that at about 2 a.m., Kristen was seen on camera crossing the car park of a YMCA, just a few miles away from where her friends last saw her. Solving the mystery of where she might have been in the intervening hours may be a vital step to solving where she ended up. Kristen was reported missing, and her parents and family have organized multiple searches to try to locate her. A GoFundMe has also been set up to raise funds for the search. Kristen is described as 5 foot 2 inches tall, 115 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a black coat, blue jeans, and a gray stocking cap. Anyone with information should contact Indianapolis Metropolitan Police at 317-327-6160. Number 2. Dorian Sanford was out looking for his dog when he vanished into thin air in the city of Fairbanks, Alaska. He's one of a number of people who went missing in the area in 2020, many of them from the Alaskan Native community, and their cases remain unsolved. Dorian lived in Anchorage with his extended family, where he ran his own home repair and remodeling business. According to his family, he was always working on one project or another, and was looking at starting a new project when he vanished in August of 2020. He'd heard about a property in Fairbanks that was for sale, and had gone over to the city to check out the area, taking his Rottweiler, Groot, with him. Groot was very important to Dorian and went everywhere with him. Dorian was staying with friends in Fairbanks in late August while he looked at the property. Details of what exactly happened the day that he vanished are unclear. Somehow, on August 29th, Groot became lost and Dorian was out looking for him when he was last seen. He seems to have called a family member at one point, as reports say that his family last heard from him as he walked on Airport Road while out searching for Groot. It was the last confirmed location of this missing individual. Who reported him missing and when is another factor that hasn't been made clear. However, Dorian was part of a family that constantly kept in touch with one another, so when nobody could get a hold of him, he grew concerned. Searches of the local area took place, but no sign of Dorian or Groot was found. At first, police believed a dog that had been at a local kennel and was no longer alive had been groomed, but descriptions of the dog's behavior didn't match Doran's, and now they're still searching for Groot. It's believed that finding the dog could lead to an explanation as to what happened to Doran. A number of interviews have taken place, and police believe people in the local community know what happened to Doran, but the truth is yet to emerge. Given the high number of people who disappeared in the area in the months around when Doran disappeared, there have been suggestions that an individual or a group of individuals is responsible for all these disappearances. Police haven't revealed whether this is a scenario they believe to be the case, but they do believe foul play is involved. Doran's family continue to appeal for information, and a reward of $10,000 for information leading to the arrest of the people responsible for the disappearance has been advertised. Fairbanks police can be contacted at 907-450-6500, and the Alaska State Troopers at 907-451-5100. Number 1. Zach Barnes was just 18 years old when he vanished under extremely strange circumstances in 2016. His family believe his missing person case isn't unsolvable, but someone with information needs to come forward to explain what happened the day that he was last seen. Zach was pretty much an average teenager in a lot of ways. He lived at home with his parents in a suburb of Maitland, New South Wales, and worked as an apprentice bricklayer. He was close to his mother, but also liked to hang out with friends and have a good time. It was typical for him to go straight to a friend's house after work on a Friday and not come home until Sunday. It was a routine that his mother was accustomed to, and she was just thankful that he wasn't drinking and driving, or letting someone else drink and drive to get him home. On Friday, the 11th of November, 2016, his mother had expected another weekend just like this. He was running late that morning, so his mother offered him a lift to work. He took cash with him, but left his phone at home because it was broken. He also didn't take his wallet, which had his credit cards. Work was nothing out of the ordinary, but he joined a group of coworkers at a pub for lunch and left work early because he didn't think it was safe for him to work after having a drink. Like usual, he went to a friend's house that evening rather than returning home. His mother was expecting him home on Sunday like usual, but Sunday afternoon there was no sign of him. His older brother, who seemed to move in the same social circles as Zach, asked a friend to go and check on him. The friend, a woman named Bree, had heard from Zach at about 1 a.m. that morning. He'd sent her a Snapchat message, and after Bree had asked if he was okay, he responded, "F no." She got to the house where Zach was staying and found him acting extremely strange. He seemed paranoid and told Bree that he would bite her face off if he got into a car with her. The two friends he was with told Bree that he'd been normal when he woke up that morning, but then started acting strange. Bree told him that his mother was worried and then left. According to the two friends, Zach asked to be taken to a nearby train station. They all got into the car and left, but along the way, Zach demanded to be let out. He allegedly jumped out of the car and ran towards a wall that separated the road from the railway tracks, and this was the last time he was seen. Numerous searches of the bushland have taken place, but no sign of Zach has ever been found. His family has questioned the story the two friends gave, not least of all because at one point they claimed to have let Zach out at a different location before changing the story. It's possible they had just been mistaken, but it's also likely they're not telling everything they know. After more than 5 years with more questions than answers, Zach's family are still appealing for information on this missing person case. Zach is described as white, 180 centimeters tall, and of a medium build. He had brown hair and brown eyes and 3 tattoos, and one of the VB logo on his calf. He was last seen wearing a faded blue shirt, blue board shorts, and work boots. Information that could lead to his recovery should be passed on to Crime Stoppers at 1-800-333-000. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.